so here we go. Kind of figured we'll see. We talked about doing a regular cast, wrestling talk and some whatnot, and doing a subcast together. But as life has it, we have some time constraints, so we'll just see what we get into. We've already started talking about it. Big talk of the, I guess, wrestling world would be, obviously, not because it's his fault or anything, but Spencer Lee and the lack of wrestling. Now, I was thinking about it, and I want to preface with I honestly don't think that any wrestler is ducking anybody in particular. I don't think Spencer Lee is afraid of Rivera. I don't think Sam Stoll is afraid of Gable. I don't think Michik is afraid of all of 133. I don't.
I'm kidding.
Yes, he is. No, no.
That's coming from a guy who's a Michigan fan.
Yeah. So that's for those of you who don't know, that's what makes that even better. So I don't think they're afraid of them, but I do think that maybe it's coaching. Like the coaches are like saying, "No, let's sit you out on this one. It's what's good for the team. It's what we're gonna see each other later anyway." Yep. And who am I to doubt a coach's decision at that level, since I am not a D1 college coach. But
I'm still gonna question it.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, yes, definitely.
Because as a fan.
Yeah, as a fan though. So I don't think so. This podcast, as we get into, I don't want anybody to think that I'm like saying anybody's scared of anybody. As a former college wrestler, like when you get to that level, heck, even at high school level, the good wrestlers, nobody ducks anybody. Everybody wants to wrestle somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what do you think? Like, what's up with this? Like, I mean, I know, like last year, this is kind of what we've been talking about lately, and I mentioned it, and I remembered it actually. Don't remind me. But we had Gross and Meredith. Like, Gross bumps up a weight to make a super match happen. Chamizo goes down to Jordan Burroughs' weight. They go back and forth.
The big match with what was it last year was Ohio State. Was it Ohio State and Penn State? The big matchup that happened. It was like, no, I'm thinking of Minnesota when they won that NATO. It was his first match back. But no, even Penn State and Ohio State, it's like it was all stars on deck. They had the
duels.
Yeah,
I mean,
crazy.
And then there might have been like maybe a handful of cases where somebody didn't wrestle somebody, but we knew it wasn't going to happen a whole lot sooner. We knew NATO was injured the first half of the year. We knew, so we knew these matchups weren't going to happen until later. This year, from the get-go, out the gate,
like this timing too. Like
it's been like
unfortunate injuries.
I know but that's what I'm saying. Like, what's up with this year? Like, it's been. I think we're taking a step backwards from what we started to see last year with these super matches and just the hype as a fan in general. And then this year, like, we're looking at. I mean, just from the get-go, I think one of the first ones I was disappointed in. I really wanted to see was Bo Nickel and Kyle Cannell. And then unfortunately he was injured. So I mean, there have been injuries along the way, but there's just
now you got Seth Gross out for the year.
Seth Gross is out for a year, so we didn't get to see any of those matches.
You mentioned Spencer Lee wasn't.
Spencer Lee, well, like half the Iowa roster was sick earlier on, I think, honestly. So I mean, you get that, but then just last night, I mean, Spencer Lee didn't wrestle. Who's the cat that was supposed to wrestle? Ryan Deacon. He didn't wrestle. I heard Sam Stoll didn't wrestle against Gable. Vincenzo Joseph didn't wrestle White from Wisconsin. I mean, there's just, it seems to be every time we get hyped up for a match, or they're not doing it. And I'm not saying any of this is Flo's fault, but every time they hype a potential match, that
it falls through.
But I don't blame him for hyping it, because that is the match. I want to say I need to get a new chair, I guess. I do want to see those matches. Those are the hype. That's the matchups I wanted to see anyway. Those are the ones what I was excited for. Talking with Alex Rosser, he was like, man, he was excited all week long for that match. I was like, yes, I wanted to see the rematch. I wanted to see them go at it again.
I think the ones that recently we just got hyped about was Suriano and DeSanto. I mean, and that's one that I can honestly say like had shades of last year, because I remember last year.
But they actually wrestled,
and they did. And it was a great
we've
match.
Got Fix and Gomez. They wrestled. So I mean, it's not every match, because we have seen a lot of good wrestling, but there were times when we just haven't seen it. Like, I don't know what was up with Michik, why he sat out the whole CKLV tournament. I mean, he's wrestled since then, and I think he's number one now.
He was there too. That was the weird thing.
It's not like he was there.
It's not like he was injured. He was there. He was actually warming up with the guys. He just didn't wrestle.
I mean,
and it's weird. I mean,
it's really. And then we talked about that, the whole flux of 133 with let's not gloss over that with
everyone's beating everyone.
All right, so Lee loses to Rivera.
Well, that's 25.
No, 25. Jesus, I'm just saying, but 33. So one, you have the crazy ending that was Fix and Suriano, and then which kind of leads into the podcast you were talking about, or subcast. But I kind of had all spin on it. But so those two wrestling and that crazy ending there with Fix winning, and then
by a really weird way too. Like you don't. It's kind of you hate to see it that way.
The rule is
but it is a rule.
But that was kind of talked about. But then Suriano goes on, loses to Santo, and then Fix goes on and loses to Philippi from Pitt, and then Micha continues not to wrestle anybody and gets ranked number one.
Suriano took 2 losses in a row.
2 losses in a row. And I kind of, this just halfway jab at Micha. I guess now he is kind of deserving number one. Although at the time, when it happened, I was like, whatever his rank was, if it was 2, 3, whatever, I felt like he didn't wrestle anybody to move up. Everybody else is wrestling and losing around him. I didn't really see why he was able to move up to number one. Yeah, he's undefeated, but the way this year's worked out, he hadn't wrestled anybody.
And he really hasn't.
As of late, though, I think he's had a couple matches and he's kind of dominated.
Yeah.
So maybe he's really trying to put on foot on the gas and really show that maybe I am number one.
Yeah.
I wonder how all this is going to turn out for rankings at NCAA's. It's just really weird this season. The number of matchups that I have not seen, that I've quite literally turned on and been like,
oh,
that's not Gross, that's not Lee, that's not White, that's not Cannell.
Well, at the beginning, I remember that snap you sent me. You were like, oh, it's not Bo Nickel.
Yeah,
and I remember that was because I wanted to see him.
That has been literally that's not.
Yeah,
has been the year. Now, like I said, though, but we have had great wrestling, so I don't want to seem like a Debbie Downer, but I am kind of being a Debbie Downer because I am disappointed.
But at the same time,
we've had so many great wrestlers. Why aren't they hitting?
You kind of, I don't want to say you're not being a downer. Even if you are, you kind of have a right to, because last year,
as the fan and with the precedence that was set,
last year you had guys promoting these matchups like Kyle Snyder, Bryce Meredith. They were hyping all these things up, and then what made it even better is people, because we would hype them up obviously as well. We'd be talking about them. We'd make videos. We'd put it on our Facebook and all that. And I had people who don't even watch wrestling. They're like, "Hey man, well, what is that about?" And it's well, this is what's going on. You have possibly the greatest number 1 and number 2, and people are like, "Oh, that sounds really cool."
Yeah, it's talk about growing wrestling.
And it was a huge step forward. And then this year, it's kind of it's not something that a casual a fan who's never been around it or someone who's never been around wrestling is going to get excited about. Last year we had endless things to talk about. All these, now it's just kind of we have a few things, but nothing ridiculous.
Who hadn't met who?
Yeah,
And then I don't know. It was like you mentioned last year though. Is it because of who we had that they self-promoted those things? They were
maybe.
They were like, let's make this happen. Let's do this. Let's make this happen. So far, is it because, for the most part, Michik's a senior, right?
Yeah, I think he is a senior.
But for the most part, these guys are young, and maybe they're just listening to their coaches, and they're letting their coaches dictating who's wrestling, who's not wrestling. I'm sure there's that one on. There you go. Yeah. So who's wrestling, who's not wrestling? Are they just listening to the coaches pick, and then if it is the coaches, why are they choosing to not have these matchups happen? I don't think anybody's scared. I just what's the reason why we got spoiled last year in a sense? And I think it's a great way for wrestling to talk about it.
Oh, he's a freshman, redshirt freshman.
No way.
I thought he was way older than that.
No way. He can't be a redshirt freshman.
2017. Okay, so that would make him. I was
18,
about to say.
19,
I was I've seen him for 18, a long time
19, now. Sophomore.
So he's a
junior.
He's a junior, senior, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah. Okay, I was like, what?
Yeah, I know, because I didn't even check that. I was like, wait a minute.
No, that ain't right. But yeah, so I just want to know why. I want to know
Okay.
why people. I get an injury.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna.
that's
I'm
understandable.
not gonna
There's
wrestle
nothing
somebody.
you can do
I
about it.
get the flu. I mean, heck, school's been crazy with the flu as is here. I get
I don't know,
illness.
man. It didn't stop Mark. It shouldn't stop these college guys.
True. Okay, I get injury. I get illness. I get stuff. But like, oh my goodness, it's just like, why?
Yeah.
You know. And then I kind of find it funny. Flo, as much as I love Flo, we get the subscription and everything. Like they were like, no, people aren't ducking anybody. We can't da da da. And then now they're like, oh well, yep, this is unexcusable. And like, guys, it's been match after match after match. It has been the theme of this year, and it has been a crazy theme for how things are going with all that. So I just I don't get it, and I don't know why, and I'm not overly happy. Huh? Yeah, like 15 minutes. Okay, that's it.
But yeah, no, and I think at the beginning of the year they kind of had to do that and say no one's ducking anybody. But I think it's
I
become
still don't think anybody's ducking anybody, but I just don't understand why they're not wrestling. Like, why are the coaches saying no? It's like Brand's thing was like it's a team decision. It's what's best for the team. And I get
why is that? Why is that what's best for the team? Because basically, when you have these super matchups, what's the worst that can happen? You have their number one guy versus your number one guy. But if you do it, what's best for the team, you have your number like. Your backup in against someone like
put your backup against somebody that's not ranked that high.
Yeah,
exactly. And let your A guys go against your A guys.
It's more exciting.
And then you're like, okay, guys, this duel isn't like important as far as like where we rank out and things like that. This guy's unranked. You've been with us a long time. You spend time for your shot. Let me give you a shot here. As the backup in that situation, not. Hey, he's the current number one.
Let's not put not
put our A guy in. Let's go ahead and throw you up in there. And I feel
you're gonna
really
take a loss there.
Horrible saying that because of my idolization of the Brands brothers. So it's really, again, that's obviously what we're talking about. But it feels really weird to say that. But that is just kind of like how I feel about it.
It doesn't make sense because your A guy can possibly beat their A guy, and that could be the game changer for that entire duel.
Yeah, and then funny enough that like that's. I guess within their right to do that and all that kind of stuff, and it's like we're not going to hear anything like it's not just the Brands brothers, but like who's like close to the vest and doesn't ever say anything to the media. Like Kel Sanderson never says anything to the media. No. It's like
he's like a mafia guy.
They're
he's
like
not turn
so
over
like what's going on in those programs are so internalized and so like kept secret. I'm like, guys, that's kind of cool, but at the same time, it's kind of like I just want to know, like football, they have pressers with the coaches all the time, and you're kind of expected to give more than what you're giving. And like I said, just from like the growth of the sport concept of like throwing that out there and like you said, being able to talk those matchups up, like how many of the casual fan per se would be like, oh wow, like hey, I saw the hype up was 1 and 2, or these two are supposed to be really great, and I tuned in and you said it was gonna be great, and those guys didn't wrestle. What happened? I don't know. And then like okay, so that's once. Oh, they were sick. Somebody was sick. He was injured. His shoulders out. Like okay. Hey, okay. Seth Gross. Oh, he ended up having back surgery this year. It looks like he's been out all year long. Okay, then it happens again. And then it happens again. And then we just look like idiots because we're trying to promote a sport and nobody's matching up. And then the people for the marquee matches because like. You want to get a casual fan in, and you want to get somebody to watch the sport. Of course, you're gonna be like, "Hey, check this one out on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yo, check this one out on Saturday. Hey, come over. We'll watch it at the house. I know you don't have a subscription. I'll put it on the TV. Let's watch it." And then people are like, "Oh, okay."
So, that was anticlimactic. Like
that was fun.
There's nothing you can get hyped up about.
I would rather have the Dayton Fix Suriano match go the way it was and be able to talk to somebody about it and explain hey, like a lot of people think they didn't pull the trigger, which they didn't, but I'm like, but those two are high caliber wrestlers. They neutralize each other's stuff, like, and be able to talk about it on that level and then explain the stupid rule and the call, because then we could talk about it, because guess what, it happened. Now we're stuck with I don't know.
Well, then what happens there is if you get someone who's just watching this and they're like, oh, these are the top two guys in this division, and it ends like that, they're like, no, I'm not okay with that. I want to see this brand back again. So what they're going to do,
they want to see it again the next time.
They're like, no, I have to tune in.
So they're excited for NCAAs now because they're like, when are they going to hit again? NCAAs? Oh,
cool,
awesome.
I'll be watching it.
Cool.
Like,
and then
when you're watching,
and then we're both like, they better be on opposite sides of the bracket.
Yeah. But then you're watching NCAAs, and it's like just by chance you're sitting here, you're catching other stories. Like I remember a few years ago. It was, who was it? There was a good storyline going on. It was the year that Miles Martin won the national championship as a
That's
freshman.
his freshman year.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. There was a bigger storyline.
That's him and Bryce Meredith had that year. Bryce Meredith came out
Yeah.
and was a runner-up. I
It
think
was
that
crazy
year.
because it's like there was a bigger storyline that year, and I can't even remember it honestly. But in the process of watching, I remember I think it was my brother messaged me. He's like, "Oh man, this Miles Martin guy's a freshman and he won." And I was like, yeah. I mean,
amazing
cool stuff happens there. So if we can get someone to anticipate that, then they can get drawn in with the storylines that are going on in the tournament. Like,
Definitely.
oh, the number one got beat.
Definitely. I thought it was, well, this one funny, but I kind of started like running storylines in my head.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, so Fix beat Siriano. Siriano takes a loss to Santo. And then I saw that Fix lost to Philippi. I was like, did they have like some gentleman's thing? Like, you lost, I got to go lose now because I want us to be on opposite sides of the bracket still.
Like
I
we're
don't
meeting
I don't
around
want
table.
I don't want like Fix to be number one and Siriano to be 6 and be on his side of the bracket. Like, okay, I'll take this loss here. You win out two. I'll win out the rest of mine. So we can still be seated opposite ends of the bracket.
We'll make sure we can all meet in the semi. Like we'll meet in the sem. Y'all two meet in the semis. We'll meet in the semis, and whoever wins that, we meet in the
I was
finals.
just like, is that what's happening to 33?
It
They're
be.
taking losses in order to gain their positioning, versus everybody else in the world is just not wrestling each
and
other.
Miocic just wasn't invited because they're like, man, you gotta wrestle first. But
Yeah, you.
And I hate to joke about it.
I was like,
I am a
hang
fan.
on,
but, like,
you've like
no, but
dogged on your boy like.
I have to because like at the same time it's
Like
as
I kind
great
of
as
feel,
what
I
we're
kind of
doing
like
this
him
year.
picturing you putting him in a Kimura right now is what I'm looking at. Like you got him like.
I might.
Tap.
I was at a seminar this weekend where all we worked was Kimura, so I might can. But no, I mean, as much as I hate it, it's just, and I think some of it's just, I wish he would.
Some
be
of
a
it's
part
also
of
because
how
I
great
think
we
we're
are
also
this year.
bitter about how many
Yeah.
times it's happened. Like let's be real. Like as the fan, I am bitter about like how many times it's happened. It's like, dadgum.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like I mean, you are. It's like a tease type thing, and it's like just give us what we're wanting. We want to see this big stuff.
happens once in other sports. Like
Yeah.
you know, like you have two teams in football. Like they're going to England now, and they're going to Mexico
Yeah.
City. They're going other places, and you have two teams, and the starting quarterback, gets a high ankle sprain and can't play.
Yeah.
On two high caliber teams. Man, that's a disappointing thing. That happens once a year.
This has happened how many times this year?
I mean,
for us.
that's what I'm saying. Like it's absurd. Like the number of times it's happened this year, and it's just frustrating as a fan.
And could it? I mean, some of it. And for instance, I was mentioning how great Michigan's doing this year.
Oh gosh, they're looking
now,
really good.
Yeah, I know. We've actually been undefeated. We just beat Ohio State the other night. Which was pretty wild.
Yeah, it was. I want to go back and watch that duel.
Yeah.
But I'm not like overly surprised by it either.
Now, and if someone correct me if I'm wrong, because I might have just overlooked it because I try not to be on social media too much, but I didn't really see much like hype for the maze out beforehand to the point where it was like everyone get ready, we're doing a maze out.
Did they do the maze out again or something?
No. I'm saying like when we did, like I don't remember seeing anything.
No, because I think
about
you said it when I sent you a picture of the uniform.
Yeah.
I just happened to be watching, and they were like, "Yeah, that's our maze out uniform." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, really? That's really cool looking."
Oh yeah, that's it. Then yeah, I did apparently, but there wasn't a huge.
So we got two things that are missing from this year.
Yeah.
One, the super matches. That the great thing about the super matches is this year they weren't even having to be made in the sense of we didn't have to have somebody bump up to make it happen. There have been so many good matches that were in weight that teams met that should have just happened, and for whatever reason they didn't. The second thing is like, Flo, heck of a job because you are making these things out there and you're doing it, but hey guys, everybody else get on it. Like last year the programs were putting out the stuff.
Well, see,
Flo was only having to repeat what the programs were saying. Got a whiteout coming on. We got this match coming on. We want to sell this out. I want to beat so and so. The programs individually were selling their stuff.
Yeah.
And right now what's happening is the programs I don't think are selling their stuff as well as they did last year. And and then like Flo put stuff up, and it's kind of funny to watch people down them in a way. Like it's like these people have lost their minds in a way. Like it's not their fault. They're just they catch a lot of flack for being one of the only like not advertisers, but one of the only outlets for it.
Yeah.
So at the same time, when something goes bad, they catch all the back end. It's like when we get mad at ESPN for something. Well, I mean, but ESPN's a much larger corporation. They're kind of used to it type thing. This is much more narrowed down. But I'm like, seriously, like, we need somebody to step up and, like, advertise and let us know what's going on.
Well, see, that's what I was getting at about the maze out thing. Are we asking too much for the guys to be to put out more? I mean, it sounds bad, but like last year, yeah, I know that sounds really bad. But last year we had Kyle Snyder. Kyle Snyder would, he would post.
I want to do nothing but beat this guy.
Yeah,
like, let's make this happen.
Yeah, all that. This year, I mean, you haven't really heard. It's not like you're seeing.
Apparently, the only thing we've heard is it was a fake Lezak account.
Yeah.
Like, somebody's making fake accounts and putting out more social media to get hype over stuff than
the actual wrestlers. Like,
are we asking? And I'm not saying
I'm
not saying like we need for it to be all the individuals. Like, I mean, you guys have lives. I understand. I'm not putting it all on you. But or like, daggum, like, let's get more presence with. Some of the social media accounts, maybe with the teams and different things like that. And maybe, yes, I'm a homer. Chattanooga does a great job of putting out their social media. Their Instagram thing had a countdown for, like, when their next home duel was. Like, getting ready to beat so-and-so, coming up 3 days, 24 minutes. So they're actively doing things. I'm not seeing as much active... Like you said, social media from...
Michigan does to an extent, but
does.
What they do is they also post, like, the results for a lot of people, because, like, if you can't watch them, they'll be like...
They do a good job, and that's how I did kind of follow that Michigan one. So, but that's kind of like halfway through it, I'm like, oh, wait, that's going on right now. I forgot.
But that's the thing.
I shouldn't have forgot.
You should have known.
I should have known up front that one was up. And that was going on.
Like, are we asking too much for not only the programs, but even some of the wrestlers
selling some stuff right now? We're going. You going to Gardner Webb Friday?
This Friday?
Yeah, go watch Chattanooga whoop up on, because remember I got that bet for Mark.
I might.
Yeah. So Friday, social media here. Check it out now. Gonna go watch Chattanooga strong.
Like
we are not biased whatsoever. I'm not biased whatsoever. Go Mox. Gonna beat Gardner Webb.
I'm not biased. Go Mox.
Hey, at least I didn't down my guys like you did Michik all episode long.
I have a 100% legitimate reason to, though.
Yeah, you do.
I mean,
you do.
Because I'm still trying to figure out
because you've been like every time I send you something, it's like, don't hate on him. And he's like, but you right.
No, it's true though. Like what I still like I was trying to be supportive. Like when he didn't wrestle the Cliff King in Vegas, I was like, maybe there's something to it. And then it's like, oh, he's warming up with their guys. I'm like, okay, I can't defend it now. Like,
it's just like nothing... like there's the clip of like Soriano, or not Soriano, but Lee was warming up with Perez. Kind of in the beginning. He didn't even win, but he was there. I'm like, why?
Like, what's the point, man? Like,
I don't know.
It's hard to defend those actions. I hate to say it, but it really, people can argue, well, they're trying to like play the duel system, but it just doesn't make sense because I think.
I mean, the duel was never in danger, regardless of. But like. Jeez, I don't know.
Give us something exciting to talk about.
As much as this episode really has been a wine fest from us, I think we're
should have brought the cheese down with this wine.
Exactly, but I do think that this isn't anything that anybody in the wrestling community doesn't actually feel.
Yeah.
If you feel like the wrestling has been great all year long, which I do think wrestling has been great, but if you think we're completely off our rocker, hey. Let us know. Say, hey, none of these matchups should have happened. And, hey, what's that? Oh, you're King of the Meme. Change my mind.
Change my mind, yeah.
We're gonna King of the Meme. I like
King of the Meme.
That's it.
I'm gonna get T-shirts made.
Yeah, you do.
King of Memes.
King of the Meme. But yeah, like, change my mind. Like, I mean, somebody help me out. Maybe make me understand why it's been this way. And I'll be glad to like. Then tell everybody else why it is this way, but it's been a frustrating
Maybe we were just spoiled last year. I don't know. Maybe like
I'm okay with being spoiled last year, and I want to be spoiled every year. I sound like a millennial.
Right? Okay. No, it's crazy. Like I was saying earlier, when you can get people who've never watched wrestling to start asking about, hey, what's going on? It's like that's awesome. A great thing.
It really is.
For a sport that is so grossly misunderstood as our sport, that is the greatest thing to hear someone be like, oh man, how can you watch that? Or like, what, tell me the story behind this. I'm interested in it. It's like, that's what I like to hear.
Like, exactly.
Because last year, we had, at my work, on all the TVs, a busy restaurant, we had wrestling on a couple of the TVs. So, I mean, that means some people they were watching, me too, but like, I can't
But somebody was down with it enough to not say, can we turn to something else?
Yeah, no, they're like, okay, this is pretty cool. And then I think there was a, there was a couple people watching, and I forget who it was that lost early last year. It might have been the Canal. No, that was later on, but
well, Canal beat
Colin
twice, but yeah, there's always
I just remember there was a moment during that tournament last year that there was just like I was watching, but there was people around me like who were like
there's always
like,
that one weight that it goes down early, and you're like, there goes my bracket.
What?
There's my bracket, and all that.
There was one of those last year, and
there's always one every year.
There was one that someone was watching because like they have the they have the rankings at the bottom of the screen, so people were kind of confused. Like, wait, he was supposed to be.
He should have.
Yeah, like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It'll be weird this year because they're gonna rank out everybody in the tournament. Like they'll put a number next to everybody, which is, I guess, helpful to the casual who's watching
they see it like basketball at that point, where it's like, you have
it helps out that way, So we'll see if that makes any difference or not, or if it makes the Cinderella stories that much more impressive, or versus unranked making it through versus.
Do we know if it's going to be on ESPN2 this year, or is it going to be on regular ESPN?
Oh, the finals, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, not even maybe even like because I know.
No, the finals used to be on regular, and then it got bumped to ESPN2 for whatever reason. But the other stuff is always on like ESPN 3, Go or whichever, which is fine. I get it. That's the first couple rounds, and
well, no, actually,
but if that's where
they had it on TV, they just had, but it was only select matches. Like it was,
but you could still get online and find every single match, which I'm down for still. So that's like my one good thing with ESPN that I'm.
We need to do I guess for the finals, we need to have like a. like a live thing of it.
Oh gosh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah, it would be definitely. Yo, bro.
Daddy won't want me to play.
Okay, well we're getting ready to come get you guys here in a second because we got youth practice. Okay.
Go. I want to play with him.
All right, hold on one second. Let's finish this up.
Go.
Okay, I'll get right there. Just come. So, well, I guess on that note, anything more on this particular subject, or
not on this subject? I mean, I think we've ranted enough.
Yeah, I think that this is our. I think we're backsliding. I think. Last year we were setting up super matches. We were moving in the right direction. It was growth of the sport. It was entertainment. It was good for casuals. It was good for quasi's purist. It was good for everybody. This year has been a bummer in a lot of cases. Now, for those of you who are still wrestling everybody at whatever weight you can be, keep getting it. Chattanooga had a guy bump up 2 weight classes to wrestle for the team. Not home right now. I got to. Scotty though, and then Scotty wrestled the RTC South when we were talking about RTCs. Chattanooga's new RTC is the RTC South, or South RTC is the name of it. And Scotty was wrestling in that at the this weekend in Colorado, and he placed second. So against Dudley. Dudley beat him in the finals
from Irmo.
Right? Yeah. So. First, RTC athlete for Chattanooga, placing second at the, what was the name of the tournament? It's the, Dapper Dan's the high school one. This is the not Dave Schultz, but the, oh god, is it Bill Farrell? It might be Bill Farrell.
Speaking of Dave Schultz, did you see that video Rudis posted on Instagram?
I don't remember watching the video.
It was,
I've never seen a lot of their posts. But.
It was a clip about Dave Schultz, and, let me see if I can pull it up. It was an interesting one. Like, it was just one of those short videos that they do. Yeah. And I thought it was pretty cool. The Rudis.
Cool.
Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, right. The one before it.
Oh, for the actual video?
Yeah, on the anniversary.
Yeah, I think I may have watched that rest of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it said you liked it, but like...
Yeah.
I thought it was a pretty neat video.
Yeah, they do a lot of really cool stuff, so... Yeah. But, yeah, so... A lot of really cool stuff. So, as much as we ranted, a lot of really cool stuff going on. We'll let you guys know. Maybe we'll figure out something for this Friday when we go check out the match, and maybe we can do that phone thing that we were looking at like before. We can.
Oh yeah, we didn't mention that. We were at the Invitational the other day on last Saturday.
Yeah.
And we were just sitting there and we were joking about recording, and he pulled up the app for it, and.
We were like, hey, we can actually do this.
Yeah, we actually all you had to do, we were sitting there, we actually recorded accidentally in a few seconds.
Yeah, but it's like, hey, we can make this work. So
like a 4-way call in.
Yeah, so those of you, another reason why Quasi needs to go ahead and get on the app so we can just go ahead and call in.
Even if recently, which neither have I.
Yeah.
Well, I posted one video last month, but
here we go. That we got one going right now. So all right, guys, check it out. We're gonna look at our time. Maybe we'll get this little subcast in. We'll see. If not, we'll get it soon.
Bye bye.